The Western Railway Museum has another amazing opportunity to acquire one of the last buses left that directly replaced rail service across the San Francisco Bay Bridge. We need your help to bring Key System Transit Lines 2116 to the museum where its chapter in Transbay Transit can be told and experienced. Voters approved a new publicly owned transit system in 1956, which would become the Alameda Contra Costa Transit District, or better known today as AC Transit. AC Transit would purchase the Key System Transit Lines in 1960 for $16.5 million. Soon after, the 2116 would have been painted in AC Transit's white, teal, and red color scheme. In September 1975, AC Transit purchased new buses from Flexible, replacing 2116 from Transbay service. The 2116 would be reassigned to routes to the newly built BART system. Its last assignments were the 37 Montclair Express and Central Contra Costa routes. By early 1980, the remaining old-look buses were being used as training vehicles. The last GM Old Look to turn a revenue wheel was 2102 on March 26, 1981. Both 2116 and 2118 were sold to Reedy Tours in Napa, California on July 2, 1980. Unfortunately, their bus yard was next to the Napa River, which flooded over on President's Day in 1986, and both buses were taken out of service. In 1989, Ron Hook acquired 2116 and restored it to how it looked in local service on the AC Transit. 2116 attended the 2008 AC Transit Bus Rodeo, where it was one of the stars of the show. In about 2012, Ron got involved with the Western Railway Museum, where he became one of the leading archivists. Unfortunately, this meant less time with his buses. 2116 last ran in 2012 and was later damaged in 2013 by a vandal who smashed the exterior lights and some windows. Work has already begun on making the needed repairs to the 2116 to bring it back to life. Ron is now looking to donate the 2116 to the Western Railway Museum, where it can tell its many stories, such as the National City Lines takeover of America's streetcar systems, how buses and streetcars support each other to make a cohesive and versatile transit system. This bus will also bridge the gap of transbay transit between the closing of the Key system and the opening of BART. We need your help. Please consider a donation to help the museum transport Bus 2116, where it can better educate our visitors and give them 85 years of transbay transportation.